Hello everyone. Today we have Ellen with us, and we will be learning the data cleaning and analysis using Power Query. So yeah, over to you, Ellen.
All right. So thank you, Akriti. I hope everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, just type yes in the chat box. And if you can see the screen, just type number 2 in the chat box. Okay. So if you can see me, just type yes in the chat box. And if you can see the screen, you just type number 2. So yes and number 2. All right, that's great, my friends. So today what we will learn is we will learn how we can consolidate 5 different sheets. Because if you look over here, we have Asian Pacific, we have Middle East, we have Africa, we have Europe, we have Americas. So basically, when you work in a multinational company, there's a possibility you'll be dealing like any data regarding a region, like Puerto Rico claims or Middle East logistic report and so on. In each particular sheet, if you notice carefully, we have iPhone, we have MacBook, we have Apple Watch, we have iPad, we have others. So what I want to do is I want to actually combine all these and create a data analysis. Okay, so let me just write down what I want to do. So basically what I want to do is I want to actually combine all the tables. If you look here carefully, we have a table for iPhone, a table for MacBook, a table for Apple Watch. So can you see this file, my dear friends? If you can see the file, can you type number 3 in the chat box? All right, so you just type number 3 if you can see the file. All right, thank you, friends, for typing number 3. So what I want to do is I want to combine all the table, and it's not just for one sheet, for all these five tabs. And the interesting part is, what if just say we have monthly report like March, April, May, June. So like you see here is the report is March. So we have January, February, March. So if just say April means we'll have April report. So first thing is we want to combine all the tables. That means 5 different worksheets into one database, one report. Okay. And then based on that, what we want to do is we want to do analysis. Like for example, month on month analysis to see whether got decrease, okay, trending analysis. And then after that, cumulative sales. Okay, this is analysis for the monthly. We also want to know the product sales apportionment, or also known as allocation. Okay, so we want to combine all the tables, we want to do analysis, and also what I want to do next is I also want to actually determine to know the top 5 Apple product models. Okay, like we have iPhone and so on. And then not only that, what I want to do next is I also want to show change data source. Why change data source? Because we have monthly report like June, May, April, March. So now let's get started how we want to import the data. So I'll press Control N. If you use a normal Windows laptop, you can press Control N. Control N will create a new Excel report. What I'll do is I'll go to Data, Get Data from File, and Excel Workbook. So my friends, can you see Excel Workbook? If you can see Excel Workbook, can you type number 4 in the chat box? Why Excel Workbook is because we want to import the data from Excel, because our data source is actually in an Excel format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the Excel Workbook. Once I choose the Excel Workbook, you will notice a box will appear. You need to know where you save the file. Desktop, I save under 13 June, and I'm going to choose the first one, March sales report. I press import. When I press import, you will notice that a box will appear. So this box will tell you which tab you want to choose, because we have 5 different tabs: Africa, Americas, Asia Pacific, Europe, Middle East. I'll select one only. You don't have to click everything. You don't have to multiple select. You don't have to click everything. I just click one and I go to transform data. Okay, in this case, I won't use append query. What I will do is I'll do some magic. You see here, I will close this change type. I will X this. I will X the promoted headers, I will X all this except for source, because the source will tell us what is the file, what is the sheet, what is the range. I don't want the database. I want all the sheet. Asian Pacific, Middle East, Africa, Europe, Americas. So what I'll do is I'll filter the define name because I only want the worksheet. I press OK. Then if you see here, can you see there's a 2 arrow over here? If you can see 2 arrow, can you type number 5 in the chat box? What is this 2 arrow means? This 2 arrow means it can expand the table. Okay, so I'm going to expand this and then I press OK. When I expand, what happened is, you see, you don't have to create the sheet one by one. It expand means it will show you here Asia Pacific, Middle East, Africa, Europe, and then eventually the last one is Americas. So meaning to say, you don't have to append query. If you see here, you don't need to click merge or append query. What you can do is you can actually go to source and expand the table. So if you see carefully, this is our database. So the first two columns, what I do is I select the first two columns, right click, and I want to fill down. You see, some of our friends, they don't understand what is null. Null means is actually a blank cell. So I don't want it to be blank. Instead, I want to fill down. So I go to fill and I click fill down. So before I click fill down, my dear friends, can you type number 6 if you can see the word here down? Can you see here fill down? Okay, so what I do is I'll just press here fill down. So it will fill down the data. Okay, and if you look here carefully, our first row and second row is not necessary. So I can remove the first two rows. Remove top row. How many rows I want to remove? I want to remove the first two rows. Why? Not necessary. It's not important. So we have all these details, the region, the products, the models, January up to December. This column 16 and until the end. You see here, column 16 until the end is not necessary. So what I do is I select all this column and I delete. Why I delete? Because it's not necessary. Then what I do is I will use the first row to promote as the header, because I don't want column 4, column 5, column 6. I want the January, February to be the header. So I'll use first row as header. So once I use first row as header, it will be promoted as the header. But still we have total, we have null. This is not needed. So I can remove this. So I click over here and I unselect null and I unselect total. Okay. So automatically here we'll have the models. We don't have total, we don't have null. Then I will unpivot the column. That means January until December, I select this once. I go to transform and I unpivot. When I unpivot, automatically you'll notice that the columns will become into two separate columns. Meaning to say January, February, March, all the months will become in one column. You may ask me, why there is no April, why there is no December, November? Because you look here carefully, January, we have data. February, we have data. March also, we have the data. But for April, May, June, it's all null. That means there is no data. It's blank. So if just say I select January up to December, okay, and I go to transform and unpivot, it will change the respective columns into two different columns. But it will not show April to December. Why? Because April is null. December is null. So my friends, do you understand? If you understand, can you type yes in the chat box? Meaning to say, here we have January, here we have February, here we have March. But April is null. May is null. Okay, what is null? Null means the cell is blank. So if just say the cell is blank, they will show in Power Query is null. Even in Power BI so it will show null. So what I'll do is I select January up to December and then I go to transform and unpivot column. So wait, let me just show one more time. Okay, January, December, I press shift and select December and unpivot column. So meaning to say now we have a clean report, a proper database. The next step is I will try to rename this. This one is the code. This one is the region. This one is the products. This particular column. This one is models. And then this one here is months. And here is actually value. Okay, you want to put the sales also can, up to you. Okay, And I want to change this ABC123. Can you see this ABC123 over here? If you can see, can you type number 7 in the chat box? Okay, so thank you for typing number 7. So what I'll do is I'll just change this to number format, whole number, so that it shows number. Okay, so now we have code, we have region, we have product, we have in a proper database. So the thing about this table is, it is not in a proper format. Why? You see, some managers, when we work in a company, we have managers who always give comments. Like Africa is in a proper format. America's all capital letter. Asian Pacific is proper format. Europe all capital letter. Some managers, they don't really like this. They want consistent, they want better because you are presenting to the board. So what I need to do is I need to clean this. I go to format. Where is format? Format is under transform. Here is transform. Here is format. I click the column. I click capitalize. My friends, can you see capitalize? If you can see capitalize, can you type number 8 in the chat box? So what happens is when I click capitalize, it will capitalize the word. It will not make it uppercase. Just now you notice like Europe is big letter, America is big letter. Wait, let me show you so that you understand. Meaning to say, when I do this, you see America, Europe, big letter. So I go to transform, format, and capitalize. So now it is in a better format. Okay. So what happened right now is, okay, we have the code, region, product, models, months, and sales. We have performed data cleaning. We go to home. Okay, but before I press close and load, I need to change the database because some managers, they don't really like the report. The report name Africa. So I put here sales report. Okay, this is the name. I press, instead of pressing close and load, I can actually press close and load too. Why? Our topic is not about data cleaning. Our topic is about data analysis. So I click close and load too. So when I click close and load too, you will notice a box will appear. So in this box over here, I'll click pivot table. I press OK. When I press OK, so now you will have this report over here. I'll tick the months and I'll tick the sales. So now you'll notice that we have the sales. So let me just right click over here, right click, and then I want to actually put a proper format, number format, accounting, no symbol, and I put here 0. So now we have in the proper format. So what actually I want to do is, here I want a month on month analysis. Okay, so we have a month-on-month analysis. So I put here total sales. Okay, maybe I want to change the color. So depending on you, how you want to present the data. So I'll change to this color. So here we have month-on-month sales. I copy and I paste over here. This one, I don't want the months. I want the product. So we have the products. And here what I want is, I want the models. So I don't want the product. I click the models. Okay, so we have all this. So now, what I actually want to do is, if you see here, I want to know the month-on-month trending analysis and cumulative sales. So what I do is, I go and I put my cursor over here. Okay, I put it over here. I drag the sales one time. I drag it one more time. So we have 2. And then I put my cursor over here. Right click. I go to show value as percentage different from. So my friends, can you see percentage different from? If you can see, can you type number 9 in the chat box? So thank you friends for typing number 9. So I'm going to click here percentage different from. And then base item, I'll put here previous because I want to know whether increase or decrease. So what happened is, in January is about 104. In February is so 104, but there is a reduction by 0.62%. If just say I click March, March is reduction by 1.23%. So you can actually do what? You can actually click a slicer and just say I want to know by region. Okay. So now if I click Africa, we see there's a reduction. Americas, Asian Pacific, Europe, Middle East. And if you clear filter, it changes. If just say you want your slicer to make changes to these two pivot table, you can press right click, report connection, you tick these two. Okay, you tick, wait, just give me a moment. Sorry, I was dealing with the delivery guy. Okay, so back to topic. So my friends, can you type with number 1 if you are with me? Okay, because I was dealing with delivery guy just now. Okay, so right now, if just say I click Africa, you see everything changes. I click Americas, everything changes. Okay, so right now, if you notice over here, we have done month-on-month trending analysis, meaning to say, here I can understand whether there's an increase or decrease. Next, what I want is cumulative. Okay, cumulative means the running total. So right click, show value as running total in. Okay, running total in. And then I will just press OK. So here you'll see the running total. That means for January is 104. February is you plus these two. You'll get 208. So I want in a better format. So right click, number format, accounting, no decimal places, and I'll just put here none. I press OK. So now you can see the running total. Okay. Then after that, what I want to do is, if you see here, I also want to actually show the product sales allocation. So I'll just put my cursor over here. I put the sales over here. This one, I don't want the numbers. I right click, I show value as, I click percentage of grand total. So I can tell the manager what is the story behind the number. So when I press right click, sort largest to smallest, I can tell to my manager, in the global market, iPhone incurs about 50% sales. Africa, 45%, Americas, 50%, Asian Pacific, 51%, Europe, 50% or 48%, and so on. So we can actually tell the story behind the numbers. What is the allocation? Okay, so this one is a pivot table that shows the product sales apportionment. Okay, done. Next, what I want is, I also want to show the top 5 Apple product models. So if you see over here, in this pivot table, we have everything. My manager don't want to see everything. He want to see the top 5. I click this. Can you see value filter and top 10? If you can see this, can you type number 2 in the chat box? Okay, so just type number 2 if you can see here top 10. Why I want this? Because I want to do top 5. So I click this over here and I put here number 5. So from here, we can see what is the top performing Apple product model. I click here, right click, sort largest to smallest. So from here, I can actually see that iPad 10 is the highest. So if just say I click for African market, still we have iPhone, iPad, and so on. So in Asian Pacific, iPhone 14 is the highest. In Europe, iPad. Middle East, iPhone 14. So this is how you can actually tell. So this one is to actually determine the top 5 Apple products. Okay, Apple product models. Top 5 Apple products models sales. Okay, let me just correct the English because the English is not so good. Top 5 sales of Apple product models. Okay, so now what you're looking at is, you're looking at January, February, March. What if just say the next month you have April report, you have May report, you have June report. Okay, what you can do is, if just say you have the next month, you don't have to redo again. Instead, we can use data source. You go to data, you go to get data. Over here, there is a word called data source settings. My dear friends, can you see this? If you can see this, can you type number 3 in the chat box? So I click here data source. A box will appear. Just now I take March. I go to change source. I click browse. I click browse. So now I choose March. So next I choose April. I press import. I press OK. So it becomes April. I press close. So now what I do is, I right click and refresh. When I refresh, my dear friends, do you notice the difference? If you notice the difference, can you type number 4 in the chat box? Just now we only have March. Now we also have April. Okay, maybe I do one more time. Data, get data, data source settings. A box will appear. Change source. I click browse. So just now is you choose April. What happened? Just now I choose is April. Now I choose May. I press import. I press OK. So we have May sales report, close, and then you click refresh. Okay, do you notice the difference, my friends? If you notice the difference, can you type number 5 in the chat box? Okay, again we repeat. So how to change data, get data source settings. This one is also available in Power BI. So Power Query is also available in Power BI. Data source also is available in Power BI. So you go here, this May sales report, you change. Okay, once you change, this is May. So I click browse. So just now I select May. Now I select June. I press import. I press OK. This is June. Close, refresh. So now you have this. So my dear friends, did you learn something new? If you learned something new, can you type yes in the chat box? Okay, so basically, what we learn is we learn data cleaning, because in our original report, even when you learn Power BI or Excel, the original report will not be perfect. It will be a messy data. Your raw data will be messy. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to learn Power Query to do the data cleaning, regardless whether it's 5 files or even 300 files. You can do data cleaning. Once you clean the data, you load into Excel. In Power BI, it will load to Power BI. But in Excel, it's used pivot table so that your manager can see this is what data analysis is. So this one, let me just change the grammar. This one, I put here trending. This one, I put here cumulative sales. Because some managers, like my previous company, the manager very cautious with the grammar, the choice of words. So it depends on which company you work. So this one is allocation. Okay, so from here, not only you can do data cleaning, data analysis, you can also perform data storytelling. Meaning you can tell to your managers, this is the report. Or if you want to make it more beautiful, let me just show you. I'll make it more beautiful. This one I don't want. So what I'll do is I will just go to home, conditional formatting, data bus. I click this. I don't want all this. Right click, or maybe I can go here. So manage role, edit role, show bar only, and I put here dark blue. So what happened is you will see that this will show you a pattern. Okay, so this one is like the performance. So you can actually show this to your manager. You can play around. It depends on you. Okay, so for today's session, I teach you this. Probably for next week's session, I'll teach you how to prepare a dashboard. Something like this. So that you can actually prepare a portfolio. Like you can show to your manager, to your stakeholders, how you can prepare a portfolio showing from this case. So same thing, like what I show you, got total sales, cumulative, trending. We also have the total sales for each product. We have the performance. They have the Apple product models and so on. So this one I'll show you in the next week class. But for this week, what we learn is we learn data cleaning and also data analysis. Just say you forget, because of course now it's recorded, you can refer. What you can do is you can actually refer to my channel. So I'm going to copy this, share, copy and paste in the chat box. I can also share the files to y'all. So this one I can close. I can share all the files to y'all. All these, I just, wait, let me just close this, because sometimes Zoom, you cannot close. Okay, so I share all this. I put it over here. Okay, so you can actually refer to the attached files. I got sent about the 5 different files, you can see. Okay, and then after that, just to let you know, okay, this one I do consolidate 5 different sheets. This one is I automate, where I change data source. So under the playlist, I got prepared a dedicated playlist whereby portfolio 1 using Power Query, and pivot table to do a data cleaning and data analysis. So I can just share this, copy, and then I paste to here. So you can refer over here, okay? Or also you want to just say understand about data storytelling. So I have a dedicated video where I show about data storytelling. The good thing is this is the shortest video, about 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So you can study, you can actually tell a story behind the numbers. So here I'll tell you about data storytelling in Excel dashboard. So let me just copy this and share. So this is what I taught just now. So I taught you all about Power Query, how we can actually clean the data. I got also teach you on pivot table, how we use pivot table to tell data analysis. And I also got tell how we can change source so that every month we can just change the data source, and then eventually you can prepare a dashboard. Okay, so my friends, do you have any question? If you have any questions, can you type your question in the chat box, or you can actually unmute?
Hi Ellen, thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to know for the next week session where you will be guiding us with data dashboard and storytelling. What are other tech, what other aspects of Excel would we be covering? Like, will we be covering Power Query and Power Pivots or just pivot tables?
Okay.
Like,
Hmm. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yes, that was it.
Okay, so next week class is dedicated on data storytelling dashboard. So you are talking about Power Query, Power Pivot, or Pivot Table. Okay, I will teach. I have list of classes that I can potentially teach for the upcoming weeks. So today's class, we only learn about data cleaning, pivot table, and change data source. Now, if you look in my report, the report I prepare is not so beautiful, because dashboard means it's beautiful, but most cases in real corporate world is not beautiful. It's the story behind the numbers and so on. So for the next week class, we will carry forward on how we turn this into this particular format. That means we have a chart, we have a tree map, we have a bar chart, and so on. So it's a carry forward from the current data to there. But of course, if just say a newcomer comes, I will start from Power Query, I'll start with pivot table analysis, then eventually I'll talk about building a dashboard. So did I answer your question, Niket?
Yes, yes, yes.
So anyone with questions? If no questions, then I'll pass to maybe Akriti or Aishwarya. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you have no questions, no worries. You can also actually PM me. Okay, my LinkedIn is actually this. Wait, if you have any questions, you can ask. This is my LinkedIn. You can actually message me, or you can also WhatsApp me. Okay, let me show you. You don't have to actually follow me, because this thing, just to let you know, if just say you have any questions, you can actually message me. Maybe you can tell me what is the problem and so on. Like for example, today I actually prepared a video on dedicating on reconciliation, because some companies, they need to have a particular payment status, but normally my data is, I will use a very fictional data, because sometimes when we use work related data, it will be subjected to confidential, right? So most of my data will be like, Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians, football clubs, and so on. So but it will be something relevant with the work assignment. Like for example, over here, okay, I'm not going to show the full video. Okay, so if you see here, this one, can you see the screen? If you can see the screen, can you type number 1 in the chat box? Okay, so if you look here in this particular screen, because one of my friend, he works in a claim and processing department. So they have vendors, which they need to capture vendors which have M&A payment. Okay, in their rail report is not M&A. In their rail report is something else. But I cannot put the rail code, so I put M&A. So it's a fictional, but in their rail working is a bit different. So they want to know which vendor has M&A. So this video is dedicated for their work assignment. Okay, so there are most of my videos. Okay, it will be always regarding to, let me change here, regarding to work assignment. So even next week class also, I'll teach on dashboard. The upcoming weeks, I'll teach more to work related. Just say if you work in logistic, how you want to incorporate the data. And maybe next month, I'll also teach about financial modeling for the oil and gas industry. So that when you learn, you not only learn about the Power Query and pivot table, but you can also capture the real working world. And also you can actually publish your portfolio in Excel or in your website, so that when the recruiters see, they actually see the potential in you. All right, so nevertheless, if you have no questions, we can end the session. So maybe Akriti or Aishwarya, you can, yeah, Akriti, over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ellen, for the insightful session, and the to the participants also. And if you have any like topic you want to cover, like for Excel and Power BI, please do let us know, and we will take it further in the upcoming sessions.
Ah,
So,
okay, sure, yeah. Maybe yes. Future I can teach you how to publish Excel dashboard to website.
thank you everyone for joining.